episode of The Brew, where it is our mission to tease out the stories that build better living. And we're back this year, bringing the focus back to you. Okay, last year I think we got a little bit off track, and so we're bringing ourselves back to our roots and making sure that we're edifying all of you team members out there in the Radco Nation. So before we get going, I want to do two things. I want to remind you of our social media channels. On Instagram, we are at Radco Residential. On Facebook, we are also at Radco Residential. Twitter, we're at Radco Companies. And LinkedIn, we're at Radco-/residential. Make sure that if you're watching The Brew, especially if you're watching it as a team, make sure you're hashtagging us out on social media, all right? And I'm so excited today because we're being joined by a very special guest host, Regina Denson from our accounting department, or I like to refer to it as our financial services firm, because that is what we are building internal here to Radco Residential. So I want to turn it over to Regina, and she's going to be doing the hashtag in service of segment of our The Brew Show. Regina, welcome.
Hi, Mike. Thank you guys for having me. I'm Regina Denson. I'm the SVP of accounting, and I oversee the property financials, AP, and vendor compliance. So.
Excellent. Yeah, she is the keeper of the money. So if we ever want to spend money, we have to go through her, and she's very mean. She's
no.
She is very good at what she does, though. So welcome, Regina. I'm very excited to have you on today.
Glad to be here.
Excellent.
All right. So as Mike said, I'm going to talk about hashtag in service of. So we're continuing the new segment of The Brew, hashtag in service of. Radco Residential is transforming to be more human-centric and in service of our team members, customers, and business partners. In this section, we'll highlight team members who have gone above and beyond to be in service of somebody else. First person is Gisela Leon. She's the assistant manager at Indian Trails. Gisela took on a project to support another community the week of closing. Rather than hesitating to take on the additional work to close out her own property, she only expressed enthusiasm for the challenge. She ensured she supported accuracy and ownership while happily responding to constant urgency. Gisela will travel wherever an assistant manager is needed. During the beginning of COVID, she traveled from from Georgia to North Carolina to train a new manager. But that's not all. She has been known to organize Radco's offices and files. Hashtag she is the fixer-upper. Gisela is also all over Yammer, ready to call out and celebrate her own team and all of Radco's successes.
Love that.
Yeah. Way to go, Gisela. We have Nicole Randall. She's the property manager at Ashford Georgetown. Nicole is always available to help, and she goes above and beyond to serve others. This person noted that when they started at Radco, they had to learn all the ins and outs, and Nicole was great helping them find the way. Nicole is a rock star. Way to go, Nicole.
Can I tell you a little story about Nicole really quickly?
Yeah.
I was in Indianapolis last week, and I was trying to be respectful of the offices being closed, so I just drove through the community in a rental car, okay? Drove through the community just to check things out, make sure things were in order. I left the community. I was gone no longer than 3 minutes, and my phone rings, and it's a number from Indianapolis. So I'm like, oh, surely that can't be Nikki. I answer the phone, and it's sure enough, it's Nikki. She's like, how dare you come on my property without talking to me?
He was coming after you, like, come back.
Oh yeah, you're not leaving here without me giving you some feedback. So I love Nikki. She's so fantastic, and the fact that she spotted me driving through in a rental car was pretty awesome.
Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah, I've talked to her several times. She's awesome.
Very, very awesome.
Next person we have is Daryl Jones. Daryl's a maintenance technician at Ashford Georgetown. Way to go, Georgetown. Daryl has stepped up to make the property look amazing. He's currently the only maintenance staff at Georgetown right now. Not only does he go above and beyond to take care of emergency work orders, when a resident's call, he makes sure he is able to complete the order. If not, he'll reach out for help to another maintenance technician, such as Robert Clark from Ashford Meridian Hills, who was featured and mentioned last week. Daryl never complains. He's always makes sure that nothing else needs to be done before he leaves. And he'll ask, is there anything else I need to do before punching out? He's a hard worker, and I love working with him. No task is too big or too small.
I got to tell you, driving through the property looked immaculate last week, and the fact that he is the only guy there is just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
considering how the property looked. It was just.
This says a lot. It says a lot. So way to go, Daryl. Next person is Lolita James. She's our senior property manager at Ashford 75. Lolita has been managing her community, helping with COVID relief efforts and supporting out PMs as they call her with questions. Countless times people start asking questions and then say, oh, I'll call Lolita, which would have been my suggestion. Lolita has a lovely way of sharing her wisdom while supporting the dignity of the person she's helping. Way to go, Lolita. Is there a RACCO team member you believe that has been in service of? Nominate them using the survey link in the description below this video. Include some detail on why you believe they deserve recognition, and a member of the team will follow up with you to include them in the future episode. Let's celebrate each other's achievements. Mike, do you have anything to add? Any highlights?
I do, yes. And good job, by the way. Thank you very much for doing that, Regina.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a story that's really near and dear to my heart, and really does fall under this hashtag in service of. Down at, well, I'm going to leave the property unnamed. The sensitivity of this particular circumstance, I think I'd just leave it unnamed. I'm not to speak real high level, but we had a team member who walked into their apartment, I believe it was near the end of the day, and found their loved one to be unresponsive. And obviously, lots of anxiety and fear and scared, called her fellow team members at the property, and they all rushed over to her apartment and actually performed CPR in the middle of COVID. And several people performed CPR on her loved one, bringing them back to life, so to speak, before they got on an ambulance and went to the hospital. So I just can't even tell you how just amazing it is that our team members would feel such love and care and respect for this person. I'm leaving it high level on purpose, but for this person, such that they would go over and really put themselves at risk to make sure that this team member's loved one carried forward in this life. So I just, without saying who it is, I just would like to recognize and acknowledge the team, and our prayers go out to said team member and their loved one in hopes that everything works out and health is restored. So that being said, I'm going to segue over to our leasing secret shopper segment of the program, and I want to, so yeah, drum roll for the secret shoppers. So I think we have fallen off in the way of people getting 100% on their secret shopping reports, and maybe that's a function of doing virtual leasing versus doing the traditional role of leasing. But and we seem to be recognizing the same people over and over and over, and we should. And the kudos to you, and I appreciate the fact that you're repeats on this list and keep repeating. I love it. But I want to see more people on this list. And so I'm calling an audible here, and I'm going to insert a little contest. Nobody knows about this yet, but I think I'm going to offer, let's say, anybody that shows up on the list next month with 100% shop gets a crispy 100. That goes for everybody, not just one person. Let's say everybody that gets 100% on their shop in this coming month, so next episode of The Brew, we'll get a crispy $100 bill that we'll sanitize. I don't know how you sanitize money, but I'm going to figure out how to do that. I'm going to hold it with a glove, and I'm going to bring it out to you, and I'm going to have my mask on, and we're going to hand it off, and we're going to shoot it on social media so we can share it with everybody. But I'd like to see more people get on this list. But let's go through the list. We had Chris Connor at Ashford Ridenhour, who got 100%, so way to go. Love that. Theus Gonzalez. I'm really believing that I'm butchering your first name, and I totally and wholly apologize about that. And please call me, correct me, and next time when you show up on this list next month, we'll correct that if I messed it up. The Sunzone Palms got 100%. Carly Boss, I always think of Girl Boss. I just know that hashtag Girl Boss. Carly Boss, City Park Clearwater got 100%. Stephanie Galarraza. Again, if I mess that up in any way, call me, let me know what it is. I'll correct it. 2800 at Sweetwater got 100%. And then we had Luke Truty at Asheville on the Lake, 2 100% shops in 1 month. Man, that's brutal. You guys shopped twice, but you got 100% both times. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. And good job to you. Okay, so there are a lot of people that are repeating 100% shops, so I'm throwing down the challenge. $100 bills, crispy ones. And I got to tell you, last time I asked for crispy $100 bills, I got a $100 bill that had been through like 47 pockets.
How dare you?
Yeah, Matthew.
That is what the accounting team gave me. Regina.
We dug it right out of petty cash, and what I asked for was crispy right off the press, right? So we're gonna get crispy ones this next time.
Good luck, guys, on those $100 bills. I sure could think about how to spend $100.
Yeah, when we were warming up here, Regina spent her 100 in like 2 seconds on some shoes. I love it. Okay, I look forward to that list being huge next month and having to travel around and hand out $100 bills. So, Regina, we're going to now transfer. That doesn't work. Transition. But we're going to leave all this in. We're not going to transfer to the next segment. We're going to transition to the next segment. So that's what we're doing right now. We're talking about the Kingsley Recap, okay? And Regina is going to come back as our guest host and talk about the Kingsley Recap and recognition. So Regina, again, take it away.
All right. Okay, Kingsley surveys are a great, easy way to track team members, properties, and regions that are thriving. There are 3 major types of Kingsley surveys that are distributed. One is a tour after the tour is completed for a potential resident, after a work order is completed, and when a resident is coming up for renewal. For these surveys, we like to celebrate the following team members for their accomplishments in May 2020. First on the list is Property Manager of the Month, Allison Richards. Allison's at Ashford Feather Sound. Out of 20 surveys, Allison scored 90%, 4s and 5s.
That's
Our
awesome.
top performer of the month. In close second was Reggie Wilson, at Radius Cheshire Bridge. Service Team Member of the Month, again, Ashford Feather Sound. Out of 17 surveys, the maintenance team scored all 4s and 5s with 100% satisfaction. That's awesome.
Raise the roof.
Honorable mentions are City Park Clearwater, Ashford Ridenhour, and City Crest. Way to go, guys. Leasing Consultant of the Month is Gina Daniels at City Park Clearwater. Out of 10 surveys, Gina scored all 4s and 5s with 100% satisfaction. Honorable mentions are Donna Tedesco at Lakeside at Winter Park, Ashley Hauser at Landing at Ackworth, and Justin Edge at Radius Palms. Way to go, guys.
Loved it.
Those celebrate our top performers for May, but let's not forget those who, let's not forget those that are most improved, showing that hard work pays off. Most improved property manager is Nicole Randall. Nicole again at Ashford Georgetown. Most improved service team is Ashford Riverview and Palmetto Square.
Oh, that excites me.
Yes.
It does.
Keep
I
up the
know.
hard work. Yeah. So guys, keep up the hard work and you'll continue to make your way to the top.
Love that.
All right, who do we have here next? Here are a few snippets of rave reviews from the recent Kingsley survey. The staff at Magnolia Terrace, here's what someone had to say. They are always there when something needs to be taken care of. Not only Magnolia related issues, but on a personal level. Cassandra, Tawana, James, Lynn, all of them are amazing human beings. Love them all. And then we have Diana Zafarin. I'm sorry if I messed your name up, but
Call
Zafarin.
her. Diana, make sure you call Regina and let her know.
Call me and let me know how to pronounce your name. She's at Radius Palms. Diana was very helpful and extremely nice during the presentation and explained what Radius Palms has to offer in detail. She handled the situation very well, especially during tough times, which helped make the process even easier. We have Christopher Carter at Landing at Ackworth. It was a lovely apartment and it seemed like a great environment. We are looking forward to leasing here and are so excited.
Okay.
Christopher C. was great. He was also helpful and had to answer he was able to answer every question that came to mind. Way to go, guys. Keep making an impression on our residents, and we'll be sure to highlight team members as the reviews come rolling in. All right, Mike, gonna take it over, and we're gonna move on to Yammer posts.
Yammer, yammer, yammer. I love it. Thank you, Regina. You did a lovely job. Diana, call Regina for sure.
Yes.
All right, so remember, if it didn't make it to Yammer, it didn't happen. So make sure you keep posting the Yammer stories out and keep jumping in there and commenting and going back and forth on the Yammer posts. I think that, to me, is the funnest part about Yammer, is all the memes that show up. as a result of various posts that go on. I can't. There are some good ones. Whoever comes up with those memes, they're very, very, very creative. Okay, so we're going to talk about Yammer. We'll run through a list of Yammer posts that sort of stuck out, so to speak, for the month. The first one that we want to talk about is Leasing showdown between Sunstone Palms and Radius Winter Park. We asked Levi to write a little blurb for this one, so I'm just going to read what Levi wrote. The main reason why we wanted to have this contest was because both properties had similar lead nurturing, conversion, and occupancy goals. Additionally, there has always been a friendly ORL versus TPA battle for best city, region, and team. All I can say is that Team Sunstone may have won the battle, but the war is far from over. That sounds like a throwdown. That sounds like a challenge. That sounds like a mic drop. Ugh. I can't wait to see that play out. Okay. All right. Next one is it's raining 5-star reviews at Ashford Meridian Hills. 5-star reviews at Ashford Meridian Hills is a big deal because that is a big property, lots of work, lots of effort. The fact that we're raining 5 stars there is a fantastic thing, and I want to thank you very much for that. Awesome work. Thank you, thank you. Then next, we want to give a shout out to Creekside at Meridian Hills team for tackling the fire at the property swiftly, safely, and calmly. This team was, I mean, a fire is a big deal. It causes all kinds of anxiousness on a property, and I have to tell you, this team was all over it. Despite the negative nature of that, they got on it, they wrote the incident report, they got it over to Brian Van Helmont. He took it from there, and we were just dialed in as it relates to that kind of thing. And fortunately, no one was hurt in the incident. So thank you for that, Team Creekside. Next, Levi Cortez, you don't have to call me that, I corrected it real time, Cortez. Got it, Levi? If you want to call me, you can. Shares a great graphic of keywords used, word cloud. I had to help Matthew with word cloud. It's word cloud? Okay, word cloud. He shared a great word cloud for the Q2 Kingsley reports that really shows a good trend. So check that out. We're checking that out now, the word cloud. Okay. Next, I want to recognize Scarlett Sparkman, Crystal McGee, and Natalie Sinkovich. And I'm pretty sure I got that right, but feel free to call me Natalie. Surprised their team with cookies and goodie deliveries. So I meant to ask you before we started, the cookies, there's some famous cookie, everybody gets it, and they're like, oh, say it again?
Tiff's Treats.
Tiff's Treats. So
Yes.
they...
Nice and warm.
Yes, nice and warm. Regina just piped in, nice and warm. These cookies are, I don't eat a lot of sugar, but every now and then I see a Tiff's treat. Oh, so good. So good. Okay, so anyway, they surprised their teams with some Tiff's treats and other things. So I think that is a special thing. We're checking it out now. All right, next thing we want to recognize is Ashford Indian Trails hovers close to 100%. So someone sitting in my position, when I hear property getting close to 100%, as much as I want to celebrate that, I instinctively want to say, raise the rent. But I do want to celebrate you for getting close to 100%. That is an accomplishment in and of itself. And it's just simply, to me, to reach those types of numbers is just, it is a testament to just a well-oiled machine, so to speak. And that well-oiled machine is obviously run by and built by people. So kudos to you, but raise the rent. Okay. All right, next we want to recognize Ashford Riverview and Palmetto Square. They're both hovering around 90%. And while we traditionally wouldn't celebrate 90%, these two properties have been sitting in the 80, almost got, oh man, yeah, now we're both very close to 90%. And I would just ask that we all collectively clap to just get them over. And so we can next month, if we get to 90% collectively, maybe I'll stand on this table and do a backflip off, and maybe I won't do that. Janet didn't hear that.
I know. Between Janet and Brian, I don't know.
Yeah, probably not. I should probably come up with something else that I will do. Although I think Levi Cortez said last time I think he threw a challenge out there. If we get to 92, 95, something like that, I have to go up there and jump in a swimming pool. So I'm willing to do that. So let's get that across like 95. But congratulations nonetheless. All right, team at Radius Sandy Springs helped celebrate. This was awesome. they celebrate their 2020 graduates. So they I guess, set up outside of the Leasing Center. They had all kinds of signs celebrating the 2020 graduates, and the 2020 graduates were invited to drive through in their cars or walk by and be edified and be celebrated for their 2020 accomplishment in graduating. Because they couldn't go through that formal exercise at their respective schools. So the fact that the team put that together in service of those graduates was just an awesome thing. So thank you very much for doing that. And check that out on Yammer. And then next, we're going to recognize Joe Cherry. This guy, if you've not met Joe, maybe we're seeing him on the screen right now. Joe is like, he's just the most incredible guy. He worked at Feather Sound and then left for a while and then came back because he missed it so much. But he's just, everything about Joe is just like humble and awesome, and anything that needs to be done, it's let's get it done, let's do it, no complaints, no issues, no whatever. His property is amazing. Every time I go there, it's just amazing. He is, and that team, and Lindsay was a part of the team at the time, she was the property manager, first property ever to make it through my white glove inspection without any dirt on my hands. And trust me, if you've been through one of my inspections, unit inspections, it's crazy. I get down on my hands and knees and I rub the floor and touch the fans, and it was perfect and flawless. And that had to do with Joe and his team. So Joe, he put together a sanitation station. That is a mouthful. Sanitation station. Try to say it fast. Okay, so he put that together and organized that and put that together at the property. So check that out. Thank you, Joe. Sade Hooks, the assistant property manager at Winterset at East Cobb, shares a heartwarming story about a struggling resident having her rent paid on her behalf. So this story is very touching too. She was struggling with some personal concerns and was struggling paying her rent, but then did come up with the funds, and then out of nowhere somebody paid another 2 months of her rent in advance of the struggle that she had in coming up with the current month's rent. So that's just a heartwarming and touching story, and I'm really glad that we shared that. Thank you, Sade, for sharing that, because that's what this is about, right? This is a very near and dear and personal thing that we do in providing housing to people. So anytime we can recognize folks, even in their hardships, I think that's a good thing. So, okay. And I think we are nearing the end of another episode of The Brew, which always makes me sad. I'm always sad to leave the Raccoon Nation. But Regina, I again want to thank you for being our guest host this month. You did a wonderful job. You were not nervous at all. It was awesome. Do you have any parting words of wisdom for us?
I would say I'm just so proud of all of our team members who are, being shout out on Yammer, Kingsley, all their, social media. So way to go, keep up the good work. And I look forward to seeing more shout outs on the next episode.
Excellent. Thank you again. Thank you, Radford Code Nation, for all that you're doing. I would just encourage each and every one of you to continue to stay safe and stay healthy, and we will see you back here again next month. Take care. I have a soundboard for us. Oh.
That's how I felt all week.
I don't know if I have the mental coordination to do that.